All right, what's up, people? I think, you know what? I'm sorry. I think I'm somewhat constipated today. And that's not your fault. That's probably my fault. I have no idea. But this video here is going to be the next in my series. And I'm going to be dealing with Adam and Eve, basically. A21, A22. Okay? Now, I had to do this. And this is mine. This is so mine, right? I stole it from something else, but this is so mine. Don't worry about what I did here. If you want to know what that's all about, you should go buy Postmodern Satanism, right? So what we're talking about here is, okay, we already did this guy right here, right? This would be the Fool, theoretically, but I never talked about that, right? What we're talking about here is the Magus. He goes here. He's what might be called number 12. And then the High Priestess, don't worry, we'll get back to all this shit. She's the line from the top down to Tippereth, or Beauty. But they're a pair. And what they do is very interesting. And like, I'm going to do another one. The next one is going to be on the Emperor and the Empress. Right? Actually, the Empress and the Emperor. It goes in reverse order. It goes in a... This is the thing, when you start getting the way this shit works, it's really cool because it's a bottomless well of interpretation. Just as everything is, right? There is no, like, what is this? Right? There is no that in the tarot. Because that's a secret understanding. So that would require an entirely new tarot to get that. Holy fuck, it's so dark in here. I need to move somewhere else. Or, conversely, I should turn on a fucking light. Let there fucking be light. How about that? Now we got some light. Now we can fucking sit down and play with this shit. Because, shit. What's going on with these two here, right? And what's going on with the Tree of Life? Well, this is my modified Tree of Life. Of course. But here's the thing. One movement is the origination. The mercurial creation of fluidity. That's this guy, the Magus. Right? The other is a downward vector. A downward vector towards beauty. That's this right here. Path 13, this one calls it, but it should be A22 is path 13, right? And then we're dealing with this here. Now theoretically the Fool does this, but the Fool only does that if you're a fool. The Fool actually, that's the first path. The Fool creates the whole fucking thing, all right? So the first path is the creation of the entire thing, because without that first path from there to there, you have nothing. You only have Kether. That's all you have. So the Fool has to break the symmetry to create the rest of the tree. After that, then you're dealing with what? Exactly. Adam and Eve. And they do two different things. So immediately we're dealing with an asymmetry. Because if it was a symmetry, it would be this and this, right? Or something. Or it would be this and this, right? It would be something like that. But it's not a symmetry. It's a symmetry break in physics. So this here, the Magus, which is actually the A2 that resonates the deepest with me, even though it's not mine. Again, mine is death. I'm a Scorpio, goddammit. Mine is death. And I think the Prince of Cups, if I'm on the dealing with the whole other shit. You know, because there's all different kind of ways you can vector shit. And then this, the High Priestess, is the mediatrix through Thoth. The only card of any card, A2 or whatever, that dissects Thoth, which is the hidden sphere of knowledge. So what are we talking about here? We're talking about the first pair. Then when you get back to Eve giving Adam the fruit of the tree of knowledge, you start getting shit. You start understanding the way things are working here. So the Magus, now this guy, what he represents, and I'm not gonna look, I could go over and read Aleister Crowley or Lanmala Duquette and give you that. I'm giving you my perspective. If you want those guys, and they are knowledgeable as fuck, you should get their perspectives too. This is my perspective. This is Adam and Eve, basically. The first pair. And I'll get to the second pair after that. The Empress and the Emperor. But basically what you're talking about here is you're talking about a male and a female perspective prior to the concepts of male and female, which is like a derivative understanding towards this entire bifurcation of the tree itself. You get what I mean? And that was only opened up by the Fool, allowing there to be a tree to begin with, right? So, you know, the individual, Mercury, and this is the Hebrew letter for Beth, I think. And you look at this and the symbolisms in there. Oh, it's so beautiful. You know, the Koph 8 right there at his heels, biting at his heels. And yet his eyes are to something else. Now, what is he looking at? What is he looking at? Exactly. And then her, look at her. She's stolid. She's not looking at anything. She's looking at you. And creating a web. Creating a web of kind of like mesmerism or hypnotism. You know what I mean? And the thing that I never did with the Fool was I didn't show you that the Fool was a spiral card, right? You can go back and look at it. You'll see that the Fool is a spiral card. I didn't pull the Fool out, sorry. These things are valuable to me. They're in like mint condition, right? The bow resting on her lap. The net of what? Perception? Illusion? See? Here, it's all vectors. It proceeds forward from what? What is he standing on? What is he standing on there? Is that the pinnacle? Because they used to draw the Fool as the guy that was running over a cliff or something, but once you start getting all the symbolisms and stuff and how it relates to what the tree of life is doing, and like you go from like, okay, we can break it this way or we can break it this way, because it was already created this way, right? So we create the whole thing, and you have the Magus, who is kind of, again, mercurial. Basically, this guy is what might be called the ultimate alchemist. He basically found the Philosopher's Stone. And so there he is. Right? And then her, she's the moon. And of course, Gimel. Gimel is the camel in Hebrew, right? So Gimel, that's Gimel right there, the Hebrew letter. And that's the camel, right? I mean, we have all kind of symbolism. Look, I could spend like 3 hours just taking any one of these, and this is why I say the Thoth Tarot is perfect. Well, it's not perfect. Nothing's perfect. But it's as close to perfect as you're going to get with a tarot. And we'll get more into what Crowley did with the double twist later. We're just dealing with A2s 1 and 2 right here. But what I'm trying to say is that this is the double symmetry break. Well, there was a primal symmetry break over here, right? Kether to Hokmah. And then Kether to Binah, right? That's the Magus. And then Kether to Tippereth, which is the only, again, path that dissects Thoth. So that, again, is why she has no vision either way. Oh, trust me. We're going to go a lot deeper. I hope you guys are ready.